Well, let's go through the dividend discount model. I've already written down the inputs we need and the output. I'm going to make that in italics. And just this needs to look really sharp, so make sure however you do it, it looks good. I would recommend now following the way I've done it. I like this column A really just so I don't have that border to the left, but that's purely subjective. For this beta, in order to do that, you can go to Insert and Symbol, and here you can get all sorts of symbols, and here are the Greek letters, and you just click the Insert button and you're done. Okay, so let's say the current dividend was $1.22, beta was 0.41. These are all going to be growth rate. These are going to be percentages, excuse me. So the first thing I want to do before I type them in is I want to hit percentage, and I will show you why. So if I don't do that, if I type a 3% risk-free rate and then I come back and do percentage, it shows me 300. I don't want to do that. So if I have this in percentage already, I type 3, it shows me 3%. So let's put all of those in percent, give it maybe 2 decimal places. Market risk premium, let's go with 5. Most people are going to call the long-term growth rate the terminal growth rate, so we'll stick with that terminology, make that 2. So those are our inputs. And some people like to make these inputs a certain color, so I can go here and I can decide to put these in blue and maybe even in bold. And now I know that, and this once again is not a law of physics, it's just what some people do. I can have my inputs in bold, so I know that's going to be the numbers I change. I can have my output in a different color. If I want to put that in red, make that bold, I can do that as well. So now I just need to type in the formula, equal, and I don't want you to touch the mouse, try to get out of the habit of doing that, equal the current dividend times, open parentheses, make sure you're getting parentheses right, 1 plus the growth rate, and that's going to be divided by K. I don't have K, so maybe what I want to do, let me stop right there, maybe I want to take this, Control X to cut, Control V to paste, and here I want to have K, and I'm going to call this instead of K my required return. Right, and I want this in red as well, and it's going to show up that way. No, it's not, but I can make it in just a second. So that required return is equal to the risk-free rate plus the market risk, or plus beta, doing that order, times the market risk premium. Now it's not the market risk premium minus the risk-free rate there, because that market risk premium, when I use that terminology, means the risk-free rate is already taken out. So they're at 5.05%. Let's put that in the red with the bold, and let's get 2 decimal places because everything else is in 2. Now for my price, I'm going to have the current dividend times 1 plus, and make sure those parentheses are done correctly. 1 plus the terminal growth rate divided by K minus G, which will be, there we go, there's the K minus G, which is the growth rate, $40.80. I don't want it to look like that, let it look sloppy. This is going to be $1. I don't want to have the dollar sign. I could do that, and the reason I don't like that is that dollar sign is, to me, just clutter. I know the price is in dollars, so I like clicking on this comma, and that's going to give me 2 decimals, and if it's a bigger number, it will show me the comma, you know, between the thousands. Alright, so that is that's just doing the base case. Now let's do a data table. I'm going to do that data table. Maybe I'm going to have a little gap here between D. Again, it's just the way I decided to do it. And right here I'm going to have betas. So I'm just going to spell out betas. And then right here's the upper left corner. The upper left corner, I need to have the price. And maybe I'm going to insert a column here. I can do Control plus, and that inserts a column. Make that one smaller, make this one bigger. And this is going to be my growth rate right here. So I'm going to take these, I'll do 5 of them, merge in center. I can make my text go rotate up and call this if I can spell terminal right, terminal growth. And there, I like the way that text looks there. And you can even, if you want, do italics or bold or not italics, however you think is best. Betas, I can merge and center, put that in bold. And now I need to have my different betas. The best way to do this is I'm going to come over here and say for beta, have a start value and an increment. And then I'm going to take all this, Control C to copy, come down here, Control V to paste, and change beta to terminal growth rate. Alright, so my start value, I'm going to say 0.2, my increment 0.1, my start value here, and these are going to be in percent. I'll start at 0 and have, let's do 0.005% to start with, and I need to have at least one more decimal. Alright, so my beta is going to be equal to this start value, and then I'll do equal to the one before it plus the increment, and press F4. That locks that down. I can go as far across as I care to. The idea here is I want the lowest reasonable beta and the highest reasonable beta and some numbers in between. Subjective how many numbers you have in between. The more numbers, the more information, but the more clutter. Same thing for the growth rate. I want to have the lowest reasonable growth rate, and then I want to have some numbers in between. So it's going to be that plus my increment, F4. And once I have that, I can drag it down. A white cross becomes a black cross, drag it down, and that's what I'm saying are my possible growth rates and betas. The good thing about doing this, if I switch to a different stock, I can change the start value to something else. And I can, and the best thing to do here is have this in 2 decimals. I can put 0.21, so I come up with that 0.41, which is my base case. Alright, so next, doing this data table, data, what if analysis, data table. See, what I've done is this 4080 and F4, that references this formula, which is my base case formula. And now in my rows I have betas. Well, the beta, what beta was embedded in this cell? This one, right? If you change this 0.41, it changes K, which changes the price. So that's what I want to reference. And the growth rate, this growth rate changes the price. So click OK, and now I have all these possible stock prices, and that looks terrible, so I just click the comma, and now that looks good. And now I can do the conditional formatting. Anything that's greater than, I'm going to say 41.76, because that was the last price of Coke. And actually, I'm going to do it this way, because the better way to do it would say, I'll put here, and I'm going to insert, right click, insert, and shift cells down. And I'm going to say market price. So the market price of the stock was 41.76, and that shouldn't be in percent, it should be in dollars. So I got to type it over, 41.76. So now I can go back to my conditional formatting. I can say, look, anything that's greater than this, I want to make green. Alright? And conditional formatting, anything that's less than this, I want to make red. And anything that's equal to, and it's going to be really rare to have something exactly equal to that amount. I think I hit the wrong, let me make sure I have these right. Yep. So I can look at this and I can say, you know what, I'm only buying this particular stock, Coca-Cola, under the conditions where there's the green. So it has to have a below beta and this growth rate are, you know, one of these. And I can check and make sure this is right. I can change these inputs. Change this to 0.51, change the growth rate to 1.5%. So that goes to $30.58. Look right here, $30.58. Alright, so that's the first part. I'll pause and go do another video here in just a second.